Hi, I'm very glad to see you again. Welcome to Julia's Knitting. I am Julia and I hope you have your crafting. I hope you have your favorite beverage because we are going to spend a little bit of time together. I'm going to show you what I did during these 2 weeks that we haven't seen each other. And I am often told that it's very nice to craft while I'm talking. And to be honest, this is what I love to do when I watch other crafters knit or crochet. I'm very into cross-stitching lately, so do a little bit of crafting and listen to other crafters. What could be better? Only after finishing recording, or maybe even when I started editing the last video, I realized that I didn't tell you anything about cross-stitching. I didn't show you my cross-stitching. I forgot to tell you about the books I read. So I wrote everything down, not to forget. I will try to not make this mistake this time. I was focusing on my leg warmers. If you watched the last episode, you saw that I kind of started my crafting jar. I pulled out the leg warmers out of there. I'll talk about this a little bit later too. If you haven't watched the video, and I will continue this kind of tradition this time because it's the next month. What I wanted to say is I thought I was going to focus on the leg warmers and I will not do anything else. But you know, little by little, I'm sorry, I am playing Robert Plant's song in my head, little by little, and I kind of cannot stop. Yes, little by little, I started one project, I started this, I started that, I continued this, I continued that, and as a result, I have plenty to show you. First of all, I finished the sock. I don't even know how it happened. If you remember some of my videos, I always tell that self-striping yarn helps speed up your knitting. And I think this is what happened here. I use I have a basket. I think I told you that. I'm not sure. I have a basket where I put all the sock yarn I have left from the previous projects. And whenever I want to make a new pair of socks, I take this basket, and usually I don't have enough yarn, enough of the same yarn for the whole pair of socks. And then what I do is I take kind of all of this yarn, or I pick all the blue yarns, all the yellow yarn, the groups of colors. Most of all, in this sock and in previous pairs that I have made, I just look what yarn looks good with what other yarn. And this is what I did here, and this is what keeps you going, I think. I chose my stripe of the same yarn to be 10 rows. This is the first yarn. I make 10 rows, then I take the next yarn. This is the next yarn, and so on. And this game makes it interesting, keeps me involved. What yarn am I going to choose next? Okay, how many rows did I make? 8? Okay, 2 more rows. So I am constantly engaged into this process, and that helps a lot. And as you can see, there is a separate yarn for the heel and for the toe. It was fast, it was quite fast. And I already started the second sock. And you see what I told you, I think it was a short video. I told you that in this case, you see the beginning of the sock, they matched almost exactly, right? Maybe there is a 1 row difference there, but they look the same. But the third color, for example, it's quite different because the yarn is self-striping. It's quite different, but you understand that it is the same yarn because you have the same colors. You see these greens here. This is what keeps me going. I think you get the gist. Okay, the next is the thing that I forgot to show you last time. I'm sorry that it's all wrinkled. I don't have my iron here at the moment. My friend borrowed it, so I tried to straighten it a little bit, but not much success. But this is the cross stitch I started several years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I don't know. And you know what? I was kind of telling myself that this was too long. But lately, I've been watching a lot of FlossTube, a lot of stitchers who do it all the time. And turns out, well, of course, they have many cross stitch projects at the same time, but still, they always talk about these long periods of time. So I guess I'm used to the fact that knitting is a faster craft. You can just sit and knit for a long time and finish the project. But cross stitch, it is slower. It is just slower, and I haven't considered that for a long time. And now these kind people helped me understand that this is a different craft. You are supposed to do it kind of slowly. Maybe I'm just, I keep telling myself this, but it seems logical, right? Can you hear that? It's testing the alarm. It happens once in a while. And I want to say that this is a very hard project. There is a lot of snow, so you have to cross stitch a lot of white and almost white hues. And it takes time. I'm talking to myself mostly, but if you feel the same way with some craft that you are doing, first of all, know that you are not alone. Second of all, sometimes it's actually what happens, what's supposed to happen. You're okay. In my case, I love this picture very much. It looks like a lot of Swedish houses in Sweden and in Finland. And because I moved to Finland 2 years ago, I moved to Finland because I have been wanting to move here for a long time. It's a country that I love with all my heart. I want to have some symbol of Finland, even though I can see there is literally such a house in the street where I live. But I want to have a reminder. Like, I wake up and I see that I'm in Finland, the country of my dream. I will finish it, and now I'm just keep reminding myself that it might take a lot of time, and it's better to work on this once a week for a little bit than to, like I did last time, for example, to take it to work for 3 days in a row on it and then to hate it and to not want to touch it anymore for a long time. Balance, as always. And you know what? I'm gonna show you my wrong side. Because, first of all, to document that this is what it looks like in 2025, I cross-stitch like this. I'd like to see what I do in a couple of years. Does it get better? I hope it does. I catch tips and tricks and hacks here and there, and so I think I cross-stitch better and better. It's a slow process, but it is a process. It is a progress. So this is a documentary about my cross-stitch. And also, as always, if it helps you, if it shows you that you are not the only one, and it's okay to have a wrong side like this, let's be friends. Also, I'm not saying this is okay. I'm saying that this is okay if you can't do better, right? If you can do better, let's try do better. I also started another cross stitch. My husband keeps asking me, when are you going to start cross stitching my Goth Sloth? I think I told you that I bought the pattern Goth Sloth from the Witchy Stitcher, whose name I say wrong every time we meet. I'm very sorry. The Witchy Stitcher. I bought the pattern. I even bought the floss to make it. Several shades of grey. The scale from white to black, and something in between, because it's a Goth sloth, so he's black and white. And yes, I am ready to start, but I'm going to cross stitch it on a t-shirt, and it's not the same as the special fabric you get for cross stitching. It's a different thing, and because it's different, because it's not that easy, I decided to try it first on my own t-shirt. Okay, this is a t-shirt, this is a t-shirt, and this is a tryout embroidery, a tryout cross stitch. So I showed you the Flamingo, right? Flamingo kit that my friend gave me as a present. So I decided to make this Flamingo on a t-shirt. As you can see, last time I asked you which color t-shirt was better, yellow or red. I decided that red is kind of, it's maybe not better, but it's better for me. It's not too much contrast, because I don't like contrasty clothes on myself. I don't even like too bright clothes. This red and the yellow t-shirt, they are kind of out of my, not a comfort zone, but I know that they don't look good on me. So I decided that they shouldn't be bright and contrasty at the same time. So this is the Flamingo's legs. These are his legs. Its legs. And I already messed up. I already made an extra stitch where I didn't supposed to do it, but that's okay. I decided not to remake it. I also cross stitched in the wrong direction at some point in some row, and several times I remade it, but in one kind of piece, I can't find it right now. I decided that I'm not going to remake it. I don't want to. I'm just practicing. This is going kind of easy. I hope. I am kind of cross-stitching and thinking, what was I afraid of? That's okay. I hope I keep thinking it after I finish it and after I take off this. This is water-soluble fabric, so I hope when I wash it, when I take this off, when it's done, I hope I keep thinking this. I hope I don't change my mind and I don't realize it has been a disaster. But so far it's okay. I'm using an embroidery needle with not a sharp ending. What else? That's it. I decided not to add anything here. I know you could stick some more fleece, what is it called? Some fleece fabric here to keep it from stretching. But I have this, and it's kind of, it works the same way. And I decided that if my wrong side is kind of, if something happens to it, or if it's nasty, I'll better stick this fleece thing on my embroidery, not under it, but on it, and fix the cross stitch with this fabric. So this is what I have so far, and I think this will take like 2, 3, 4 sittings more to finish. And this was the idea, to make it a fast project, but at the same time not like 2 stitches, you know, just to try, but to make it a full project, but not too large of a project. I don't want to promise anything, but it's possible that I'll finish it the next time. I'll show you the finished project the next time we meet. Moving on. This happened, I don't know how it happened, you know? I don't know. But I have a market bag. I crocheted it. I made this. And it is not the thing that I was planning in the beginning. You see these handles? They're very comfortable. That you know, they make you they make it more comfortable to hold the bag. But at first I was planning to do a market bag that fits into a flower bag. So this is a flower. If you, well, I'll show you like this. This is a flower. They're two different flowers because the middle part is smaller here. But if you have two parts of this flower, you can crochet them together. You can leave a space here, or you can do a special thing. There are tutorials on the internet so that they are a part of the bag. This flower is on the bottom. You kind of, turn it inside out and you have yourself a bag. And then you turn it back inside in, and you put, at the same time, you put the bag into this flower bag, into this flower pouch. And the bag is very compact. It's nice to take it with you, to always have it with you. And you can also put it on use it as an accessory, put it on your whatever, what you have with you. And I don't know why I decided that, well, I kind of always do that. I decided that I don't need a pattern, I don't need a tutorial. I will just make the flower bag, and then I will just make the bag, and I will put one into another, and that's it. I don't need this, construction. And I did that, and I joined the flowers into a little sack, and then realized that the bag that I made couldn't fit into this small flower. This was, a minute of struggling. I was thinking, and I don't have enough yarn left. So I was thinking, okay, the options are to make the flowers bigger, to make the bags to make larger holes, and this way it will take less yarn, less of these, thick joins. So I thought about several options, and then I thought that I started all this because I wanted to use up the yarn I have left. And I don't want to remake anything. I don't want it. And that's why I decided to, well, if this is a fiasco, this is a very nice fiasco. I'm happy if this is how my fiascos look. And that's why I decided to make these handles out of the flowers that I made. And it's just not going to be a foldable bag, but just a bag. And the spring is coming, and I think it's very, this is a bag for warm weather, spring, summer. And now about the most unusual, exciting, a new thing for me. Last time I showed you how I made my crafting jar. Here are the projects that I have been wanting to make for a long time. Last time I pulled out leg warmers out of this jar. If you want to see how I made this, please watch my video. I made a video about it. I think it was the last one. Basically, different colors of papers represent the craft. The blue is knitting, and last time I pulled out leg warmers. I remember that I was being responsible, and I said, okay, I don't know how this works, I don't know how I'm gonna choose, and finally I decided I'll just choose one and I'll see what's what. I'll just start one project in February and we'll see how it goes. And the project was again leg warmers. And what do you know? I have a pair of finished leg warmers. How it happened is a different story. I hope I make another separate video just about the leg warmers because it was fun. But long story short, I thrifted a hand-knit jumper from a thrift store, Kirpputorilta, as they say in Finland. Thrifting is very popular in Finland. All the thrift stores, all the second-hand stores here are very... it's nice to be there. I love them. And I bought a hand-knitted jumper, and the yarn, I think it's amazing. I already washed it. It's kind of It's not like, you know, the softest soft, but you can wear it, you see, around your neck, and it's soft. It's a very nice yarn. And the jumper cost €2. And I thought, and the weight is, they weigh 120 or 30 grams, and the yarn left weighs probably the same, maybe 200 grams, and there are a couple of pieces of the sleeves I haven't unraveled yet. So I suppose there are almost 400 grams, maybe even half a kilo, less than half a kilo, but you know, that's a lot of yarn for €2. And when I came to the to buy it, to pay for it, the shop assistant says, okay, today is the Barrios. I'm totally blanking. Well, they're on sale, let's say that. They're on sale, everything is on sale, or I don't know the details, but this cost €1 instead of €2. It was, you know, like, it was already unbelievable to get this amount of this quality yarn for this money, and then it's even less. It's kind of magic. It's a kind of magic. It's just a nice bonus, you know. I don't mind paying for good quality yarn, good quality anything, but you know, it's nice to sometimes do the thing I wanted to do and save money on it. That's nice. That feels nice. Because the jumper was mainly this color, this lighter color, I had to make the leg warmers the colors that I had, and there was not enough this color, as you can see. Well, I thought about making them very short, you know, just for the I like how it would look, you know, to fold them just above the boot. That would look very nice. But I decided that I needed long leg warmers more, and that, well, if I don't like them, if I don't wear them enough, I always can remake it. I can cut this part and make several rows of ribbing here and make myself a pair of shorter leg warmers. And probably I will do that at some point. Right now I want to enjoy this version. I can't say this is what I would do if I had a choice. You know, if I was buying yarn from the store and I could choose the colors, I would probably choose black or dark gray or dark brown, and they would be one color, leg warmers. But we have what we have, and for €1, again, €1, that is perfect. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I have an unexpected, usually I know what I need for what clothes I need, what accessories I need. But sometimes when I unexpectedly get something that I thought I didn't need, I find myself wearing it all the time and not knowing how the hell I lived without it. So you never know, maybe this is the case and maybe I'll wear them all the time. Plus, I mostly think about needing leg warmers when I am, you know, hiking, when I am somewhere where I need them for functional reasons, not to look pretty, but to make myself warm in a certain way, in certain places. You know, I do a lot of kind of camping, hiking, things like that in the nature. So I need not just something that is warm, but mainly to look nice. But I need some functional things that I don't care how they look. So these leg warmers might be it. And finishing leg warmers and also beginning of the next month raises another question. Again, do I pull out just one item and and make it, and then make the next and the next? Or do I pull out several? I'm thinking about several. I kind of already decided this. Because, you know, I could pull out something that I don't have yarn for, or a mood for, or, you know, some circumstances might be not ideal right now to start this project. And then I will have a backup. And I also have a plan. Like, I will do it, but I have time to buy yarn for this first and, you know, to prepare. So this is why I'm thinking I will choose four projects, 4 pieces of paper for the month of March. For the first month, I think I will not care about what kind of craft I get, like what color is the paper I got, because I don't know how it works yet, so that's okay. Maybe in April I will take one color, one of each color, one of each craft. So I'm pulling out 4 pieces of paper for the month of March. I'm sorry. Okay, a pot holder with picture on it. This, I don't know, orange probably represents sewing, and this is what I have been wanting to do. Well, everything is something I have been wanting to do for a long time. This is sewing, and this is a pot holder with a picture, meaning that it is something like a quilt or a patchwork, and it's not just a patchwork where different colors are near, but they organize a picture, like a sun or a cat or, well, something, I don't know yet. That's nice and difficult for me because I can't sew even the simplest things. Well, I can sew them, but I can't sew even the simplest things well. And here I need to sew a difficult thing. Okay, another sewing project. A spa headband. This is good. I have been wanting, like every day or every other day, I'm thinking, Jesus, I'm washing my face or I'm applying some cream on it, and I'm thinking, I need a spa headband. And recently I found out that you could make one. And remember, in my sewing episodes, I told you that I had some old towels that I want to sew from, and this is what I'm going to use because they are made from this fabric. Okay, what's the next thing? This is a knitting project blue. A scarf for Mary. It says a sarf for Mary. Okay, Mary's my brother's girlfriend, and I have been wanting to knit something for her. I made just a pair of socks for her and nothing else. And I kind of want to properly welcome her to our family, and that means that I knit for her. Okay, this will require buying yarn, buying good quality yarn and good, you know, choosing the colors. This is a project. I think I will do this maybe the last. But let's see. I'm trying to hold the jar that you can see that I'm not. A cardigan for me. Oh, that's not easy. This is a big project. So let's agree that I don't have to finish it in March, first of all. And second of all, you remember my situation with the winter rain cardigan, right? I told you, I think in the last or the previous video, that I wanted to stop using the winter rain cardigan pattern. I started it in December, but the pattern is so difficult that it's a struggle to knit with this pattern. And I need a cardigan. I have been needing this for ages, but I can't choose the pattern. I need the pattern. You know what? I remember that I was kind of the closest thing to the pattern I loved was on this Finnish designer's website. There is a knitting designer, Sari Nordlund. I have made her patterns in the past. Her pattern, one pattern, was a jumper. I can't remember the name. Something with the snow. Maybe it was just Lumi. It was lovely written and it was a lovely pattern, and I think her patterns are kind of the closest to what I need. Okay, but that's not your problem, right? I will think about it. I have 4 projects for this month. 2 of them are knitting, 2 of them are sewing, which is nice. I can mix and match, or I can make, like, you know, a big sewing period and a big knitting period. We'll see how it goes. Let's say that my goal is to start, both projects are kind of big, and let's say I will try to start them both in March. At least start them. If I finish one or both of them, that would be very nice. I don't think it's possible because we have a cardigan, right? But, you know, miracles happen sometimes. I have a plan for March. I also have all of this going on, all of these started projects also. Leg warmers are done. Okay, this is the plan. And now the only thing left to tell you about are the books. And you know, I haven't told you about this for a while, so I have 3 books that I finished. I'm now reading another one, but I will tell you about it next time, okay? Because we have enough. I actually finished 4 books, but one of them was about digesting system, about our stomach and things like that, because I'm struggling with some symptoms of eating disorder, and I was reading it for myself, like to use in my life. And it was dull. It was good because I use some pieces of advice from this book, but I don't want to talk about it. But the other 3 books I read were kind of epic. I don't have the actual books with me right now, but I'll show them to you. The first was The War of the Worlds by Herbert Wells. And it was interesting. It was an interesting experience. You know what? Maybe this is an unpopular opinion, because I usually hear that it's one of the, you know, popular and beloved books of all times. When I was reading the first chapter, the book consists of 2 books, like 2 grand chapters. They're not chapters, they're called books. When I was reading this first book, I was not getting it. I was just thinking, what is going on? Why is this book one of the greatest of all times? Why does everyone know it? Why does everyone love it? It was impossible. And you know what I'm thanking myself for right now? That I didn't finish reading it. You know, I always say that you are not supposed to always finish every book you start, just because you started it. But sometimes, you know, sometimes you should, or you shouldn't, you never should do it, but you will thank yourself, or you will be glad that you didn't stop sometimes. And this was that time. My thinking was, if it's so popular, if people, you know, started at some point started hiding themselves in the bunkers because they heard it on the radio and thought that the Martians were coming and everything was destroyed, that means something, right? Even if I thought that maybe the time has changed so drastically that I don't understand this book, I don't understand this, you know, effect it had on people in the past. I don't know, maybe partially this is it. But also I think maybe this is what the idea was, to to let you feel as much of this chaos that happens when the Martians come onto to Earth. You know, the first book describes like the Martians came to Earth on the first page of the book, and then nothing else happens. Well, on the first, I don't know, 50 pages, they reveal themselves. They open this, people start seeing how they look, how they act, how they, you know, how everything works in their gear. I don't know. I don't want to spoil too much, and well, how everything works and how they behave. But then it's all the same. It's all the same. A couple of details, like certain characters appearing and showing themselves, but nothing that affects the plot, you know? They just exist. So if there were no characters, nothing would change. It's just the describing of these Martians. And this is why I thought this was a disaster. Because why do we need this book? Martians come and they are on Earth. And they behave like they do. And they behave. And they behave. And they behave. And they do the same thing. And they do the same thing. And they do the same thing. Just in different situations, in different towns. Like, well, yes, we see that at first there were like 3 Martians in the local area. Then we understand that they are everywhere. They're in London. London is under attack, and well, they're spreading. But that doesn't need half of the book. Maybe if I'm wrong, if you know what that means and I'm mistaken, please let us know, because that's interesting. And I haven't watched anything on YouTube or anywhere, any booktubers who would explain it to me. So if you have opinions, please share. If you have recommendations, what to watch and who to listen about this, please share. Okay, but then the second book begins. And this is the type of book that I love. I might even say my favorite type of the book. This book in particular, I'm not sure. But the type of the book is, I definitely love it. I love it when the character, especially the main character, reflects on life, on moral, on, you know, on what kind of a person they are. Not just, you know, they sit down and they reflect, but because the background is such, because the Martians came to Earth, the main character thinks about certain things, reflects on certain, you know, aspects of his life, compares himself to other people and sees how other people react completely differently from how he reacted. So this was, the second part was very good, very good. And this is the struggle, because, you know, when I checked the book on Goodreads, I didn't know how many stars I would give to this book, because, you know, if you use maths, you have 0 or maybe 1 for the first part, and you have 5 or almost 5. I still would like to give 4.5 for 7.75 stars on Goodreads. But, you know, on average you have 2.5, for example. But I can't say, because the second part is very good, I can't say that my total, you know, impression from this book is 2.5, because 2.5 is kind of a bad book. But I can't say that the War of the Worlds is a bad book, right? I struggled with it. I think I gave it a 4, and I still don't know. Probably, yes, probably that's fair, but I would probably give it 4 point something. I was very glad that I finished it. And overall, I think it's worth reading. The second book I read was, the next book I read was first person singular by Haruki Murakami, the famous Japanese authors, and one of the most famous authors of modern time. And it was so good. I think I gave it a 5 on Goodreads. This is a short stories, a book of short stories. And I don't actually have a preference. I can't say I love long prose more than short stories. So if you have a preference, just, beware. But it was so good. My favorite story was about a monkey, and the book said this was the first Murakami's work that I have ever read. And the book said that this story was the beginning or the continuing of another story, so I'm not sure. I don't know the details, but it's about a monkey It's about a monkey. I don't want to spoil anything. And it was amazing. All the others were so good, also my favorite kind of literature, or actually anything, cinema, whatever, when nothing is actually happening. There is no Martians coming to Earth, nothing. It's just a period of life, for example, a piece of life of a person from, March to April. Sometimes a very short piece. Sometimes it's a day. Sometimes it's a long period, a longer period. But anyway, it's just, remembering. There is a lot of remembering his youth, a lot of, I can't say reflecting, but maybe a little bit of reflecting, and mostly, comparing maybe, or being surprised how young he was, how different we are from our young selves, at the same how same we are now and before, how we change, how we don't change. It's just my favorite genre. Some stories have a little bit more drama, some have a little bit less, but it's just life happening, and just a person reflecting on it, thinking about it, remembering it, comparing first of all himself to himself, his younger self to his modern self. And this is amazing. And the last book I finished, was The Theory of Everything by Stephen Hawking. And I thought I would die during reading it. Disclaimer, I'm very bad at physics. I don't get into maths, chemistry, what else? Geometry. But if I do, and when I did at school, at the university, for example, when I started studying them, I was good at them. I understood them. I don't want to just do maths because I want to do that. I'm not that kind of person. But if I start remembering it, I will get better, and I think I will even get decent. Not very good, but okay. But physics is something that I just don't get. In maths, in chemistry, in what else? Geometry, you have a formula, and you know that you have this and this and this. You use this formula, and if you have this and this and this, you use a different formula. But in physics, they start things like, but what about the tension? But did you forget that the density of something is stronger, or the gravity works in a different way here than there? And there are so many things that they depend on, and there are so many things that you have to consider, that I don't get it. There is not enough brain in my head for this. This is why when Stephen Hawking explain something using balloons, I was like, ah, now I get it. But that happened like 3 times during the book, right? Everything else was singularity and, gravity, and I don't, the numbers he used, like all of these quadrillions and tens in, I don't understand. I cannot realize that we have all this, I cannot understand that time can start and finish. I cannot understand that. I can't. I'm sorry. And I have no reason to not believe him. So I was reading and I was trying to just accept this fact. Okay, the time started at some point, and then it could end at some point. Or this astronaut, he's constantly giving an example of an astronaut on the edge of the black hole. Like, what happens if he's a little bit farther from from it, and if he crosses the line and he's actually on the edge, and what happens if he's inside the black hole. It's just, I don't understand it. I don't. And I finished the book a couple of weeks ago, and I already kind of forgot what it's about. Well, I remember, like, in general, but if someone asked me, okay, what's the most interesting thing in this book? What were you impressed by the most? I don't know what to tell you. I honestly don't. I made some, I highlighted some pages, some sentences, some ideas. I'm hoping that I will read it again sometimes. And in general, my idea is, I don't understand it now, but I keep reading. I read another book, another Stephen Hawking's book. I read more books like this, and I just, ease into this world, and I get acquainted, I get a little bit closer with space, physics, and the universe, and maybe I understand it better with time. The idea is this, and I know that in general this idea works. Like, I understood more or less some things using this method in my life. At the same time, it's kind of the hardest thing for me, the most difficult, so I'm also prepared to not get as much as I'm imagining right now. So, okay, we'll see. The greatest thing for me in this book is the idea. I love scientists because they are kind of already higher than we all are, in the sense of we get anxious when anything happens, when we read the news, for example. But the scientists have the scientific approach for everything, and that's why they observe it from the highest point. We observe it from the inside, and we're all, oh my god, what happened? And they are above all this. And this is what I'd love to reach someday, to just observe, to just accept everything like it's a scientific fact. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just there. If I can reach 1/10 of this approach, I will be a much happier person, I'm sure of it. So I'm kind of I have always been a fan of Stephen Hawking's, but in a sense of how could you not? Like, he's a genius, why not? But now I'm kind of, he's my hero, and he's my example, He's my example. These are the 3 books I read. Totally recommend, thinking about reading them. I never know if I have a right to recommend. This is it for today. Thank you for listening to all the news I have. I hope you did some crafting during the video. As always, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might like it too. Let's kind of exchange bloggers information. I also appreciate if you leave the link to some videos that I might enjoy, because I watch a lot of crafters, booktubers, flosstubers, what else? A lot of scientific channels, about space, the universe, AI sometimes. Even if I didn't name it, but you loved some video, please share. Maybe I don't know that it exists and you will open something new for us. Thank you so much for being with me. I'll see you next time. This was Julia and Julia's Knitting. Bye!